Begin this morning in child's pose. Keep it simple. Knees can go wide. Tops of the feet press. Arms can be any which way you want them to be. So sometimes it's nice to even have the arms resting forward, hands resting forward on blocks. Ooh, Reggie is where are you? I just looked, I was like, that's fantastic. Are you somewhere I don't know
No,
about?
I did that for a meeting yesterday.
You're on a beach. That's amazing.
I know, that was from yesterday.
That's awesome.
I never changed it back, sorry.
All right, well, if you'd like, you could be in child's pose and teleport yourself to a tropical beach. Arms, palms, as I was saying, can be resting on blocks. The arms can also just be stretched back. I kind of like that because you can grab the base of your feet. If you're struggling to have the front of the forehead resting on the mat, it's always nice to have the block nearby because you can place the block, forehead down. Arms can just be relaxed. You can grab the feet and just breathe. Now I'll shut up. Just connect. Sometimes the hardest part is shutting your brain off. So take a deep breath in through your nose and exhale loud out through your mouth. I can't hear you, so just make a loud sigh breath out. And then seal your lips and begin the Ujjayi breath, which is inhalation through the nose and exhalation through the nose, through the back of the throat. Good. Start to come up, press up onto all fours. Let's hit a tabletop position just for a moment. So stack up the body, curl the toes into the mat, sink the spine down and look forward. And then exhale, you're going to round the spine deeply and look in. So just a few go arounds with that. Sink the spine down and look forward. I'm enjoying the sun here. Exhale, round the spine deeply and look in. One more, inhale, sinking spine down and looking forward. Exhale, rounding and looking in. Good. Come to a flat back tabletop position and just extend the right leg back into space and just pause. So think really small movements this morning, and it's not about like how far, how deep you're going to take your leg. Just think about small movements, general direction. So the right knee is going to go kind of like a dog at a fire hydrant, like out to the side a little. So out to the side, like you're aiming it towards the right back of the right tricep, okay? And then you're gonna extend the right leg back. So you're gonna re-extend. And then you're gonna hug the right knee straight in. You can scoop or you can just kind of draw in. And then extend the right leg back. So just going on the breath. And then you're gonna extend the right knee across just a little bit. You wanna feel the oblique starting to activate without taking the hips out of alignment. And then extend the right leg back. So 2 more cycles like that. You'll kind of move on your own beat, but I'll remind you as you go. Outside a leg, extend back. Scoop it in straight towards center. Extend back. So get a little fiery as you move. Take it over, cross body, and extend it back. One more round. Some of us move fast, I know. Right knee outside. Extend it back, lubricating the hip. Hug it in, scoop up the belly, extend it back. One more go around, knee across, extend it back, and then pause. Lower the right foot. You're going to turn it on an angle like this. The left leg's going to go out, and you're just going to stack it open to a supported side plank, modified side plank. Take this version with the right foot grounded, almost like the right leg's in a warrior two, and then breathe your collarbone open. So just real basic. Yeah. Top arm can stretch up and forward if you're looking for a little more action. Yeah, that's good, Dara. Take another big breath in. Look to the floor and just come back to tabletop. Just come back tabletop position and reset. So just restack the body and then extend the left leg back into space. Flex the foot strong. And then take the left knee like a dog at a fire hydrant out. So it's like a little funky, I know. And then extend it back. And then hug it straight in. See if you can really activate your core. Arms are straight. And extend that back. You're going to take the knee across the body and then extend it back. So 2 more rounds, okay? Left knee outside. Move on the breath. Extend it back. hug it in, scoop up the belly, and extend it back. Take it across, just keep the movement and then extend it back. One more cycle. So it's like you're going in a clock. Outside, extend it back, hug it in, use your breath, extend it back. One more, take it across, extend it back. Then take the foot to the floor, turn it on an angle and open it up right here, modified side plank. So the right knee is the knee that's down. Yeah, and I find for alignment purposes, if you have your right hand like a smidgen in front of your right shoulder, you're gonna probably find the sweet spot. Yeah. Top arm can stretch straight up towards the sky or can come up and over your ear. Yeah, depending on how you feel with your shoulder this morning. Look to the floor, revisit tabletop position, And then slide your hands a little bit more forward this morning and set up for down dog. Here we go. So lift up, first down dog. There you go. Take up a lot of space on your mat and pedal it out. Move the right leg, move the left leg. Feet are about hips width distance. Hands are about just shoulder width, a little wider. Yeah, then let your head just go. And you may need to practice this morning with your legs a little bent if you feel tight across the back side of the body. So be open mind to that. And then find stillness, or as much stillness as you can. Move your shoulders away from your ears. When you plug down in down dog, the arms are real active. Breathe those hips way up off the shoulders this morning so you really get out of that shoulder socket. Allow your body to just get still and your mind to get quiet and let the breath just kind of cycle through. Roll forward to plank. So lead with your chest in plank position. Stack up your body here so your shoulders are over elbows, elbows over wrists. These look great. Always know the modification. If you feel the need or the urge to drop your knees to support the posture, it is a great option. You're still getting plenty of work. Sides of your body kind of hug into the center line in this plank position. And I'll encourage you to bring your weight all the way forward onto your tippy toes so you can find the sweet spot. Good. Drop your knees down on an angle so they're a little bit behind you. Keep your eyes fixed forward with the neck very long, lower halfway to a supported push-up. Remind yourself that less is more throughout this entire practice. Re-straighten your arms to a supported plank with the knees down. Lift the knees so your thighs lift up off the ground. You're in one plane of energy here. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. So on the breath, roll forward to a plank. Lead with your chest. Drop your knees on an angle right down below you. Lower halfway to a supported push-up. For some reason, you're not taking push-ups, just hold the supported plank. Re-straighten your arms to a supported plank position. Lift the knees, activate the legs, fire up the center line. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. Look to the top of the mat. Start to creep your feet to your hands. Take your time doing so. When you arrive at the top of the mat, inhale to a long spine. So if you're dangling like a wet noodle, two options. Use the blocks to support your hands, okay, at any height, or slide your hands to the front of your shins. You want to press. The weight is forward. The spine is long. Exhale, fold, let your head go. Try it again. Inhale to a long spine. Hands to the floor, the blocks, or the shins. Exhale, fold over your legs. Root to rise, come all the way up. Drag it to prayer at heart, drop your arms. So you could decide to practice with your feet a little separated today, that's cool, or together. Arms go straight up towards the sky. You're gonna dive over those bent legs, forward fold. Long spine to prepare yourself. Step, step to plank. Step, step to plank. Halfway to a push-up that works for you this morning. Pick what you need here for your up dog or baby cobra. Keep the neck very neutral. Press with the hands, the tops of the feet. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in. Take a full breath out. So complete every movement with a full cycle of breath. Look where you want to go. Step, step, float to the top of the mat. Get there nice and light this morning. Long spine, keep that weight forward. Exhale, fold into yourself. Root to rise, come all the way up. Drag it to prayer at heart. Drop your arms. Arms go straight up towards the sky. Look up a little with your eyes. Dive over bent knees, forward fold, let your head go. Long spine to prepare. Step, step, or float to your vinyasa. So when you hit plank, then lower halfway. Up dog pulls you through. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. Deep breath in. Full breath out. Arms stay straight. Look where you want to go. Step or float to the top of the mat. Get there light. Long spine weight is forward. Exhale, fold. Root to rise, come all the way up. Drag it to prayer at heart. Drop your arms. Keep going. Arms go up towards the sky. You want to feel. Dive in half over bent knees, forward fold. Always let your head just go. Long spine to prepare yourself. Step, step, float through a vinyasa. If you are opting for the jump back, you always land in a low push-up chaturanga. Up dog pulls you through. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. Breathe the right leg up and back to a three-legged down dog. Yeah, keep it in space, in the air. Yes. So let's just practice what we did a little tabletop. We're not going to take it anywhere quite yet. So you're going to come forward to a plank. The right foot is hovering the floor. The right knee will come to the outside of that right tricep, or the back. I would say the back of the tricep is a better angle because you want your hips to stay super aligned. I'm going to push you back to a three-legged down dog. So go three-legged down dog, but move like you're moving through molasses. Okay, thick, kind of thick air. Come forward. Hug the knee. Let's go across the body. Let's go across the body, kind of like you're setting up for a double half pigeon. Yeah. And then extend it back. Extend it straight back in space. And then one more time, come forward and hug the knee in, and this time pause with that knee in nice and tight. I would recommend looking forward with your eyes here. Keep the arms straight up and down and scoop up the belly. Then look all the way forward and step the right foot forward and through into a low lunge. You can use the floor as a little support, be in a low lunge. So very slowly bend your left knee just so it hovers the ground. So it's going to look like this. So if I'm using blocks underneath the hands here to kind of demonstrate, to keep myself nice and elevated. Yeah, if you don't have blocks, then you'd want to fist the ground or tent the fingertips. But all that I'm doing here is I'm creating a 90-degree angle with my right leg, and my left knee is hovering the mat. So it's not actually touching the ground. It's like an inch or two from the ground. You're holding here for 3 more breaths. You have to feel. Yes. So then from the hamstring, the glute of your back leg, start to fire up that leg and straighten it, straighten it, straighten it, straighten it. Then root to rise, high lunge crescent lunge. So as you come up here, the arms energize towards the sky. Yep. The hip points are forward. The back leg is nice and amped up, or it can have a soft bend. The front leg is really bent. Perfect. Couple more breaths. Hold. We're going to add on. So go ahead and drag your hands to a prayer at heart position, just like this, at prayer position, okay? Using a little power, and it can be a little funky, you're gonna drag your left leg up to a 90-degree angle and press to stand. And it might not be the prettiest thing the first time, okay? Flex the foot. So hands are gonna stay at prayer for this. Yep. And you're gonna stand up really tall. So you're gonna use some power as we do this. Guide the left leg all the way back. Keep the hands at prayer. Yep. Guide the left leg, drag it up, flex the foot, use the core. Stand on that right leg. Extend the leg back, nice big step. Good. Drag the left leg up. Use some power, flex the foot, fire up the core, step it back. One more, we're doing 4. Hug the left knee in, pause, flex the foot strong. Use the left hand to bring the left leg up into a tree on your right leg and then grow your branches. Yep. So you're standing on your right leg and your left leg is in tree. Nice. So you can rest, Andrea, your foot anywhere along the instep of that left leg or that right leg, sorry. Everyone's cameras are in different directions. Yes, there we go. Hug your hips in, grow the branches of your tree, fix your eyes. Ground yourself. So this time you're going to keep your arms up. You're going to guide that leg back, warrior one. So you're going to take a nice juicy step back and you're arrive in warrior one. Right leg is forward and the arms can be up towards the sky. You can pitch your torso forward a little if you feel like you're going right into your lower back, but it's a pretty big step. The left rib spin forward. You're heavy in that front thigh and you're holding warrior one right here for a few more. Integrate that back leg a little bit more. Yep. Hands to frame your front foot. Let's move ourselves to a vinyasa. The up dog pulls you through. Nice, hips up and back, downward facing dog. Breathe your left leg up and back in downward facing dog. So it's a three-legged down dog. Your left leg is just in space. So lift it up so it's hip height. Yeah. And then come forward and take your knee to the outside of that left tricep area. So it's more the back of the tricep. Great. And then extend it up and back. Do it slow. Three-legged down dog. And then come forward and take your left knee to the inside of that right tricep. So just kind of come cross body a little. And then extend it up and back, but do it slow and fire up that thigh. And then one more time, come forward and hug the knee straight in, scoop up the belly. Your arms are straight up and down. Rather than rounding in, look forward with your eyes, just to keep everything very neutral with the neck. And then slowly step your left foot forward and through. Be in a low lunge for a second. Don't drop the knee down just yet. So be in a low lunge, and I always check in with a low lunge, like making sure the alignment is first and foremost. The knee has to track over the ankle, then you know you're safe. Blocks underneath the hands would be helpful here. You're going to slowly start to drop your back right knee so it hovers the ground. It's just hovering, and you should feel a lot along the back side of that right thigh. Just let it hover. Keep the chest nice and open, keep the neck neutral, just look forward. Use the breath to encourage the sensation that's moving through the body. Very slowly start to engage that back leg from the glute, from the hamstring, from the quadricep, fire it up. Once you find the sweet spot, rise, high lunge. High lunge, crescent lunge. The arms can be up, they can be cactus. Find what works for you this morning. The hip points are forward. Back leg is really engaged for most of us, and you're sitting heavy in that front thigh. Drag the hands to a prayer at heart just for balance purposes. Look forward with your eyes, drag your right leg up, press to stand, flex the foot, come to a standing position, 90-degree angle. We'll do it a few times, so if the first one's a little rough, it's okay. Guide the right leg, step it back. Crescent lunge, keep the hands at prayer. Good. Drag the right leg up, flex the foot, use a little bit of power. Guide it back, nice big step. The slower you move, the more you're going to feel, which isn't always a good thing for some of us. Drag the right leg up, flex the foot, find your breath, find your balance. Guide it back, nice big juicy step. Last one, we hold, drag the right leg up, flex the foot, pause. Use the right hand to drag that right leg into a tree anywhere along the instep of that left leg. Just don't press against the instep of the knee. Hands can stay at prayer. You can grow your branches. Grip the hips in, stand up nice and tall, maybe look up with your eyes. Stay with it. So if the hands are in prayer, bring the arms up towards the sky. Yeah, energize yourself, guide your right leg back, warrior one, nice big step. So find your warrior one, back foot turns to about a 70-degree angle. It's almost completely spin forward. Right rib spin forward, left hip grips in. Side ribs nice and long as you energize yourself. Look forward with your eyes or maybe look up a little. Breathe. Another big breath in. Take it to the floor. Let's move ourselves to a vinyasa. Okay. And your vinyasa may look different than everybody else's because we are unique. Up dog pulls you through. Hips up and back, down dog. So let's just roll with a few of these. Look where you want to go. Step or float to the top of the mat. Just a few sun bees to keep us going here. Long spine, fold. Let's sit into chair. Chair pose. You could take chair with your feet a little separated. Totally cool. Stick your butt back. Yeah. Shoot up to stand up. Drag it to prayer at the top. Drop your arms. Here we go. From the top, arms go straight up towards the sky. Sit heavy in your heels for chair pose. Dive over, bent knees, forward fold. Let your head go. Good. Long spine to prepare. Step or float through your vinyasa. The up dog pulls you through. Hips up and back, down dog. The right foot lands, the back foot turns. Rise, warrior one. So you're just gonna kind of go with it. On your breath, on your movement, take it to the floor plank position. So if I'm moving a little quicker than you, you're a little sleepy or just a little slower, don't worry. When you get to your down dog, left foot lands, back foot turns, come on up, left side warrior one. Hands to frame your front foot through a vinyasa, we go. Up dog, hips up and back, down dog. Always the opportunity to meet up right here. Look where you want to go, step or float to the top of the mat, get there light. Long spine, weight is forward. Exhale, fold. Sit into chair, weight moves into your heels. Press up to stand up, drag it to prayer at heart, drop your arms. From the top, arms go straight up towards the sky, sit way back into your heels for chair pose. Stick your tush back, back, back. Yeah, that looks good, Reg. Exhale, fold over the legs, let the head go. Long spine to prepare yourself, step or float through your version of a vinyasa. You're welcome to just step to a dog and take an extra couple breaths and not be so aggressive. When you get to your downward facing dog, the right foot goes through, the back foot turns, rise, warrior one. Hands come down to frame your front foot through a vinyasa. Press through the hands and the tops of the feet when you move through that back bend. When you get to your dog, the left foot lands, the back foot turns, rise, warrior one. Hands back down to frame your front foot, move through a vinyasa. The up dog pulls you through. Hips up and back, down dog. It's kind of like when you watch the Zoom, it's kind of like when you have the football game on and two different TVs and like one TV is ahead of the other. I've got the same situation here. Look where you want to go, step or float. Top of mat, long spine, weight is forward. Exhale, fold into yourself. Heavy in your heels for chair. Sit way back in your chair. You want to feel the weight in your heels. And then you want to use that energy to shoot up to stand up, drag it to prayer at heart. One more, I know you're super excited about it. Arms go straight up towards the sky, heavy in your heels. Let's sit way back into chair. Dive over, bent knees, forward fold, let your head go. That's it. Long spine sets you up, step or float through your version of a vinyasa. Keep it going. Up dog pulls you through. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. Okay, have fun with it. Right foot lands, back foot turns, rise, warrior one. Feel the ground, then come up. Stay for a breath, and then bring it back down. Down dog, your left foot lands, your back foot turns. Move on your movement. We're all a little different. Back down we go, Chaturanga Dandasana. Upward facing dog pulls you through. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. So let's just do this. Let's step the right foot smack in between our hands. Turn the back foot on a strong angle. And let's set up for triangle right here. So you're just gonna go right into a triangle pose. So utilize your blocks if you need to. The right hand can be on a block to the outside of the right calf. Whenever I take triangle, my right knee has a little bend behind it. Your left arm can be straight up towards the sky. You can wrap it behind your back today. I'm actually going to go with that option. Yeah. Hand can also always be on hip if you're nursing some sort of joint injury with your shoulder, your neck feels funky. Good. So a few breaths holding just basic triangle pose. I'm going to feel like you're leaning back a little bit. Yeah. Your back foot's on a nice angle. You're nice and zipped up with your side body. Your inner and outer thighs are working. You're looking sideways, maybe you're looking up. Good. So from here, you're going to look down. You're just going to float nice and easily into Ardha Chandrasana half moon. So utilize your block or the floor and lift up nice and slow into Ardha. If your arm is wrapped behind your back, you can keep it there for the first few breaths. At any point it's too much, you let it go. So your chest nice and open. And then if you want to re-extend your left arm to the sky, you can do that. And maybe adding in a bind today, reaching for that left foot and kicking behind you. Whenever you take on half moon pose, you always want to make sure that your standing right foot is forward. That's the biggest mistake a lot of us run into, is the toes start to turn in, and that's generally weakness from the hip, which we all have. So keep that right foot forward and focus on the strength of that right standing leg, gripping that right hip in and acting as if your right leg is really Tadasana. So if you're binding, that's great. Stay with it a couple more breaths. If you're keeping it basic, keep turning your bottom ribs. Yeah. Regular half moon, if you added anything fun in. Soften behind the right knee, guys, a little bit. And then take a nice big step back, warrior two. So hit up warrior two here. Spread the collarbone open nice and wide. Spread your arms open nice and wide. Wrap the inner right thigh open and just make sure your feet are not all over the place. Your right foot intersects your back left arch. You're spreading those arms open nice and wide. Your ribs are stacked evenly over your hips. You're not favoring one side. There's a lot of really positive symmetry in this pose. And you're breathing your chest open here. Soften the shoulders away from your ears. And maybe close your eyes and just let the feeling of the pose kind of take on whatever it is that it needs to. Flip your palm, reverse your warrior, reverse the warrior. Just let that left hand slide soft down the back of that thigh. Come back through warrior two, and let's take the right hand to the instep of the right foot this morning. Utilize a block. If you don't have a block nearby, you go without the block. Your arm can just rest on the top of your thigh. Top arm can reach straight up, or it can come behind your back this morning. A half bind would probably feel pretty good here. Turn your ribs. Yeah. So this is B variation of extended side angle. Yeah. Start to pay attention to little things such as this, that the right hand, if it's resting on the block, get real light with it. Yeah, because a lot of times we dump down and we go into our shoulder. So get real light. You're not relying on it. It's just there to kind of support the pose. Grip the bottom right hip in and turn your ribs towards the ceiling. Stay with it. Strong in your legs, revisit warrior two. Warrior two, pull it up, pull it up, pull it up. Sit 2 inches deeper in warrior two, because I know you all can. And then take it to the floor for a vinyasa of choice. The up dog will be real smooth. Press even through your hands, the tops of the feet. Fantastic. hips up and back, downward facing dog. From your down dog, just land the left foot smack in between your hands. Have your block nearby. Turn the back foot strong and set up for triangle from the ground up. And decide like how big you want the triangle to be. You could take your top arm around and take a half little bind. You can have your hand on your hip. You can just be in the regular version of this. We're here for a few really good breaths. So, you know, the first 2-3 breaths, it takes a little to kind of finagle your way in, and then you settle in. My back foot, as you can see, is on a nice strong angle. My front leg has a nice soft bend behind it, so I'm protecting my hamstring. My inner and outer thighs are working tremendously, and I'm feeling the length and the strength of the side ribs to keep me lifted and elevated. So the thoughts are going to wander, normal, come back. Just come back to being here, being present. You're just doing triangle, nothing else to worry about but the triangle pose right now. It's pretty neat. That's all we have to think about for a few moments. So keeping your hand as it is, hand to hip, arm bound, however this works best, look down, stay close to the floor, and see if you can move real effortlessly into your half moon. Your balancing version here, your right leg lifts to hip height, your left knee softens a little bit, but reminding you that the foot and the hip have to stay facing forward. So once you find your breath and your balance here in your Ardha Chandrasana, adding in whatever it is that kind of works for you this morning, keeping it simple, keeping it maybe more into a little bit of a bind, keeping your bottom ribs nice and open and long, looking sideways, looking up, and breathing here. If you fall out of the posture, it's almost good news. It's good news that you've tested yourself. Lift from that inner thigh a little bit more, everyone, and spark up those toes wherever you are. If you added in any balancing stuff, any binding stuff, just release to a regular Ardha. Catch a breath or two. Focus on that front leg, really bend it deep, and then take a giant step back, warrior two. And sometimes the transitions get a little funky. Don't beat yourself up. So here we are, you're in warrior two, you're wrapping your inner thigh open, you're spreading your collarbone and your chest open nice and wide. It's a pretty generous step, so you can really lengthen that tailbone and get into that hip. And then close your eyes and just breathe here and hold. Wrap that inner thigh open. Give that back arm a little bit more attention, I'd like to call it. Stay with it. Flip the palm reverse. Reverse the warrior first. Then come back through warrior two and place your arm on the top of your thigh or your hand to the instep of that foot. Utilizing a block would be recommended. Yeah. The right arm straight up, your hand to your hip. You can wrap your right arm behind your back. Half bind it. That looks good, Reg. Yeah, if it doesn't feel great, you can also take it like kind of like a half bind. So your palm would face like this, and that just kind of gets the shoulder into the spot where it needs to, so you get a little bit more of a back bend. Yeah. So sometimes the hand all the way around is a little too much. Grip the bottom hip in and turn the ribs. Look sideways, look up. And then we settle in here. We're holding a few more. Nice stuff. Stay with it. Warrior two, pull it up. Power. Get some power, get some energy. Take it to the floor. Let's hit a vinyasa. Up dog pulls you through. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. Let's step the right foot forward for a crescent lunge. Yeah. Crescent lunge. Hip points are forward. You're gonna wrap your left arm underneath your right arm for eagle. Yeah, you could also just kind of take it loose like a little bear hug. You can also alternatively have your hands in prayer if something's going on with your shoulders, okay? You're gonna step up into eagle, wrap the left thigh around the right, and squeeze the arms nice and tight. Yeah, eagle pose, top of mat. You're standing on your right leg, guys, and you're wrapping and you're sitting back nice and deep into this eagle pose. Steer the hips back, the knees a little bit more to the left. Sit up nice and tall in this and create a little arch of that upper spine. Stay with it. Let's keep the eagle arms, everybody. Keep the eagle arms. Guide your left leg back, warrior one with eagle arms. Take a nice big step back. Yeah, inhale, lift the heart and the chest. You're in warrior one with eagle arms. Exhale, come forward for humble warrior with eagle arms. I love humble warrior with eagle arms. Two ways that you can take this. Stomach can just rest on the thigh. You can make it kind of like a snuggly eagle, or you can get in there, right shoulder kind of slides to the instep of that right knee. Let your head go. You want to feel like you're dragging your palmed hands a little bit more forward. Take the left ribs forward, so your whole body is neutral towards the front edge of the mat. Stay with this. Grip the right hip in nice and strong. Yeah, couple more breaths. Stay in the legs, pull just the torso up. Yes, unravel your arms to the sky, straighten the right leg on track. Step your back foot in about 2 inches, both hips are forward. Right hand comes to hip, left arm extends up. Come halfway down, really lengthen. We're hitting up triangle, twisting triangle. Left hand to a block to the instep of that right foot. Right hand can just slide to the flat part of your back. Hug the hips in. Look sideways, look up. So I'm not taking my right arm open today. I'm just going to keep it on the flat part of my back, just demonstrating a really safe alternative here. Steer the hips back. My front leg has a little bend, the back leg super engaged. Look sideways, look up. Check in with this bottom left shoulder. We have the tendency to kind of dump down into it. Yeah. Nice, Dara. So Dara, I don't know how you feel this morning in your upper torso, but you've been doing this for a long time. You can play, and I'm just giving you an option. Anyone can do this. I'm not just spotting Dara out, but I could see her. So you can move the block a little bit more forward, okay? And that's gonna kind of change the pose. You're gonna begin to feel a little bit more through the back leg. It may or may not work great for you. You can play with that. It doesn't have to be directly underneath that hand is what I'm trying to say. 3 more breaths. Good work. Take it to the floor, move yourself through a vinyasa. Stay with the practice here. Drag yourself through a smooth up dog. It should feel pretty good. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. When you hit your dog, no time to check out. Left foot lands, crescent lunge. Yeah. Rise. Wrap the right arm underneath the left arm. Yeah, an eagle. So you're going to eagle those arms. And then step up, because we practiced this before, and wrap the right leg around, eagle the legs. Yeah. So you could take the arms a little more loose. Yeah. Squeeze. Just focus on sitting back, like you're sitting in chair. Weights in that standing heel. Chest is lifted in this version this morning, a little arch in that upper back. Sit a little deeper. Keep the arms bound. Let's keep the arms bound and just unravel that right leg, warrior one. So warrior one with eagle arms. Step all the way back. Your left leg is forward. Inhale, lift the eyes of the shoulders up. Exhale, come forward, humble warrior. So you could just slide into the instep of that leg. You can rest a little bit more on the stomach, on the thigh. It's funny because in regular humble, it's not as easy for me to get in here. With the arms bound up like this, it actually feels a lot better. Steer the right side of your body forward. Sometimes you just make these little tweaks. For some reason, the eagle arms doesn't work for you this morning. Of course, you don't have to take that. Really feel that back leg. So Steph, split the hands around the foot then. So take the hand, yeah, there you go. And work on gripping your bottom hip in and taking your back thigh bone forward. There you go. Stay with it, a few more. The good stuff happens at the end of this pose where you have to kind of hold and feel. So stay with the legs in warrior one and just pull your torso up. Once you come up, unravel your arms to the sky, straighten the left leg on track, step your back foot about 2 inches, left hand on hip, right arm reaches out in front of you, come halfway, and then come the rest of the way down. Twisting triangle. So I think you can see what I was talking about before. So for years, we've taught block underneath that hand, right, underneath that shoulder. If all of this is very aligned, and that's hard to tell for a lot of us, but you can have your hand on your low back and you can feel if one side is dumping down, right? You can start to play with bringing this block a little bit more forward, right? Just as an alternative. Stack it open. Couple more breaths. Hands to frame that front foot. Listen carefully. Step to the top of the mat. Feet can have a little separation if you prefer. Long spine on your inhale. Exhale, fold. Sit into chair. Weight moves into your heels. I had a split second when I was teaching just now. I was like, oh, maybe I won't teach chair with a twist. I'll give them a break. But here we go. Drag the hands to prayer. Inhale the breath. Hook and let's go to the right. We won't hold it for long. But I'll feel like, you know, later today at like 3, 4 o'clock, you'll be like, she didn't teach me chair with a twist. God damn it. So we just got to do it. Sit the weight back into your heels. Yeah, you can open up your arms this morning. You can also stay. I'm demonstrating more of an air twist and really just working on the feet, the shins, the knees, nice and aligned, looking sideways, looking up. It's really not about depth, how far we're going. We're here. That's all that matters. 2 more breaths. Keep the weight in the heels. Pull around to center. And let's go right to the other side. Let's hook and twist, or we're going to air twist. Weight stays in your heels. Look sideways, look up. Yeah. Yep. Nice long spine, nice long slow breaths. Good. Pull around to chair, guys. Sit really, really deep in your chair. And let's hit the floor for an amended boat. Legs are going to be bent. I'm going to use my blocks this morning. Hands are going to be resting on those blocks. If you don't have blocks nearby, you can just tent the fingertips, such as this. But I really would prefer in this action this morning that you keep your hands touching something. Lift the eyes of the shoulders up. Yeah. Perfect. Really feel the deepness of the core working. With the hands staying on the blocks, you'll lower down to a low boat. You may need to slide the blocks back a little. So low boat, you can hover the feet any direction. A little bit higher is going to be less in that low back. Keeping your hands on something, you're going to pull it back up to boat navasana. So you're going to use the blocks to kind of row the boat. So lower halfway, find something that works. Keep the eyes of the shoulders lifted. Press down into those blocks, row it up. Yep, do it slow. Low boat, row it down, open it up. Yep. Row it up, boat Navasana. 2 more. Row it down, open it up. Find a spot that you know you can maintain. Row it up, use the deep core muscles. Keep the neck long. 1 more. Low boat and hold. Pull it up, boat Navasana. Cross the ankles, step or float through your version of a vinyasa. Stay with me, we just have a little bit more to do and we'll hit the floor. The up dog pulls you through. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. Step the right foot forward, crescent lunge. Rise. Yeah. Hands to prayer at heart. Inhale your breath. You're going to lean out, hook and twist. If back sensitivity is allowing you to not allowing you to go into this deeper, you can just air twist. You can also drop the back knee down and support this pose happily. Okay, you could just be like I'm demonstrating here. Grip the right hip in really, really strong. Yeah, look sideways, look up. Point the elbow if you can towards the sky, or open up your arms. Lean back a little bit, get the crown of the head to line up with that back heel. Two more. Great, hands to frame your front foot. Listen, back leg's gonna lift. I want you to press to a 3-legged down dog. Your right leg will lift into space. 3-legged down dog. Yeah, so the right leg lifts up and back, 3-legged down dog. Then you're gonna come forward and drag your right knee to the inside of that left tricep and extend the right leg out for a fallen triangle. Fallen triangle. See how you did with that. So it's like a side plank with the right leg out at an angle. The back foot, you could pick how it's gonna turn. For some reason, this doesn't work in your body this morning, modify side plank, go back to that. Regular side plank, awesome option. The higher you lift your leg up, that right leg up, towards the front edge of the mat, the more stretch. So if you bring your right leg, Steph, closer to the front edge of the mat, you're gonna feel more along the side of your body, just so you know. Good, lift a little higher, guys. Hands to frame your front foot. Take your right knee straight in towards your navel. And this time just land that right leg forward. Take a half pigeon. Take a half pigeon pose. Yeah, so you're still on that right leg. That was fun. Yeah, half pigeon. Breathe. Fold a little deeper. Downward facing dog. Keep it together here. Downward facing dog. You can clear it out if you want through a vinyasa or just hold dog. Then when you're ready, step your left foot forward. I actually hate when I say that because we may never be ready. So just step your foot forward, crescent lunge. Yeah, drag the hands to prayer, lean out, hook and twist. You can drop the back knee again if that worked best for you. You can also take an easy twist. There's lots of options. Grip the bottom hip in, look sideways, look up. You want to lean back a little bit, activate that back leg. If you've chosen not to have the knee down, you really want to keep a solid, strong leg. If the knee is down, it's on an angle. That looks good, Chrissy. Lean back a little bit more and get in there. Open up your arms if you have it, or point your elbow towards the sky. Sometimes that works just better for a lot of us. Stay with it. Three more breaths. Place the hands down to frame the front foot. Methodically, you're going to do this. You kind of have to hug your left knee in and then extend the left leg up and back to a three-legged down dog. So press through that left leg nice and strong, and then roll forward to plank and take your left knee to the inside of that right tricep and then open it up. It's hard to do over here because I've got a brick wall, into a fallen triangle. So the legs are kind of split apart in this version of side plank. Yes, the higher that the leg goes to the front edge of the mat, the more stretch you're going to feel along the outer part of your leg. So that could be good or bad for some of us. Modify if you need to. Drop the bottom knee if this doesn't work out. Top arm can stretch up or up and forward. You pick. Lift a little bit higher. Hands to the floor, square it off, hug your left knee straight in, and then land the left knee forward for half pigeon, because we're right here, so we might as well do it. And then fold. You can have blocks to help you out in pigeon. You can slide a block underneath your left hip. You could rest your arms on those blocks. You can rest your forehead on the block. You want to kind of be in a place in this pose where you're getting a deep stretch, but you're not uncomfortable. Your right thigh is grounded. Couple more. Good. Come up nice and slow. Lean onto the left side. Swing the right leg around. Let's take a Supta Baddha Konasana before we hit up a back bend. If you want to elevate your feet in this, you're welcome to. The block would go the long, skinny way. My feet go on top of it. Good. I kind of like to walk my seat back. I like to wrap my arms underneath and kind of grab the block. You could do this without a block. And then inhale the breath, lift the chest, and exhale, we fold. Now, as you fold in this, you want to think about the external rotation of your thighs, which means my knees are dropping open. Yeah, so I feel a nice stretch to the outer hips, and I also feel a nice little stretch through my inner thighs, my groin area. Keep pressing the soles of the feet together. Good. Lift the torso up. Bring the blocks back with you. I'm going to set up for bridge using the blocks. So my feet are going to actually go on the blocks this morning. If you only have one, you could place it in the center and kind of take the feet like this. Not as ideal, or just have the feet flat. Robot the arms or interlace them underneath your back and lift up for bridge pose. I like the feet on the blocks. It's the same posture. Lengthen the tailbone. Breathe your tailbone away from the backs of your thighs. So it's kind of creating some space there. Yep. Yeah. So stay with this, guys, or if you want to go up into a full wheel, you're welcome to. If not, just stay with this for a few more breaths. If anyone's going up into full wheel, this is great. Wrap your inner thighs down and under, a little closer with your feet, Steph, and you'll be in good shape. Good. Two more. exhale the breath, start to come down. When you hit the floor, just kind of kick the blocks out of the way. Let's take the feet to the width of the mat. Let the knees knock in for a second, and then lift the hips up to the left and drop your knees over to the right, okay? So my knees are gonna go to the right, and my right thigh is up a little higher, my left thigh is down. Take my right foot on top of my left thigh. It's kind of like a little spine twist here. And actually, you can extend your left arm back and up. Yeah, if you want to grab onto that wrist, you can do that and kind of pull it back and up. And that's going to help get the stretch along the left side of the body. Let the foot kind of slide off the thigh first. Remove the hands down. Take the feet back to the ground. Lift the hips all the way to the right and then drop your knees to the left. Same thing goes here. And this time it's the right arm straight up. You can grab your wrist and you can stretch up and really feel. The foot can just be kind of pressing on that IT band, encouraging the thigh to kind of lengthen down. And then roll up to center. Hug the knees real even in towards the chest. Give them a super duper squeeze. Yeah. And then find Shavasana. If you have those two blocks, slide them underneath the thighs. Yeah, set up here. Don't cheat yourself of this. You made it this far, so 2 more minutes, you'll be good to go. So just find your way into rest. Minute or 2. Put something over your eyes, turn off the lights, make yourself comfortable. Take a big breath in, guys. Follow it up with a deep exhale breath out. Arms go up over the top of the head, big stretch. Hug the knees in towards the chest. And rock yourself up to seated. You should feel very accomplished. If you do nothing else today, you did this, at least you got this done. Sit up nice and tall, let the shoulders kind of fall down the back, hands to prayer. Right, bow your head, always have some gratitude. Not only that we were able to move our bodies, but that we found the time to do this. Lift the head, open the eyes. Namaste. Go out there, have an awesome afternoon. I will be back on regular Zoom schedule next week. I'm teaching in person Friday, so sorry about that, but next week back to Wednesday, Friday Zoom. All right, see you soon.